Hafi Kennedy Swanson on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Cody Jordan with the Public Defender's Office.
Thank you. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Bob McGee.
Mr. McGee, you are here in case number 12 CF 14360. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause order for sexual battery. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, sir, and at this time your bond is $10,000 and you are not to have any contact with Felicia Singh. Thank you, sir.
We're gonna get it lower.
I was driving. Can I get our pre-trial release or something? I was driving down the street, man. Coming right off. I didn't do nothing, man.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Terrence Stewart.
Mr. Stewart, this is 19 CF 8471. You were arrested for threatening a public servant and loitering or prowling. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
Your Honor?
I promise to God,
Sorry,
I
sir. Just a second. Your Honor, I do have argument as to this. I did speak with the state beforehand. They had no objection to RORs to count 1 and $500 on count 2.
And just no return, Your Honor.
easy.
I agree with you. There's no probable cause for count 1. I will set bond at $500 on count
God.
2. And sir, you're not to return to the scene, which is West Colonial Drive and Hiawassee Road.
So.
Mr. Stewart, do you understand?
Yeah, I understand, but I didn't do nothing.
That may be
ma'am.
true, sir. I'm not saying you did, but I'm telling you your bond is $500 today and that you can't return to that intersection. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand, but
thank
I
you.
don't have no.
Your Honor, Dorothy Collins is mental health.
Okay, we'll reset Ms. Collins.
David Skelly is behavior.
And we can reset Mr. Skelly. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Good morning. Brandon Charles Moore.
Mr. Moore, you are here in 19 MO 1146. You were arrested for urinating or defecating in public. There is probable cause. Did you want a lawyer to help you with your case, sir?
I don't think so.
Okay, state, is there an offer?
Adjudication, credit for time served.
All right. Mr. Moore, did you hear the state's offer?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to accept it?
Yes.
Could you sign the plea form, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're not on probation or anything, are you?
No.
All right.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying no. Sorry.
Because then it would be real bad if you pled to some if you're on probation. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Thank you. Mr. Moore, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yeah. I was reading it while I was in there. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation?
No. I'm not from Florida.
Pardon me?
I'm not from Florida.
Okay.
Trying to get back
Are-
home.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days or 3 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 3 days time served. You also have to pay court costs. Those are due by June 13th of 2020. And you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. good morning, your name?
Kayla Self.
Ms. Self, you're here in 19 CF 7956. You were arrested for burglary of a dwelling.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'm not sure if you were the judge at the time. Her
It was
two
Judge Wish.
co-defendants?
I
It was
have a
Judge
note.
Wish?
Yeah.
It was Wish. Her co-defendants, we would make the same argument as her co-defendants' cases. This was not a burglary, this was a simple trespass. The officers came into the location. They were not hiding, the truck was parked in the driveway. They believed they had the right to be there. It may be a trespass still, but to be a burglary, there would have to be the intent to commit a crime therein, and there's
State
no
has no
assumption.
objection, Your Honor.
Okay.
As such, given the crime, we would ask that no action be taken on her grand theft.
Okay. So I'll find no probable cause for the burglary of a dwelling, but for trespass, I'll set bond at $500. Ma'am, you're not to return. Oops. To 443 Cinnamon Bark Lane. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And 19 CF 805, I will take no action on that case at this time.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the case number? Good morning, your name?
Demarius Fields.
Mr. Fields, this is 19 CF 8510. You were arrested for aggravated battery on a pregnant person and criminal mischief. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $3,500 and your bond on count 2 is $100.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
And as to
Oh, he
his,
does?
he also has a misdemeanor
Oh.
resisting officer. This was an officer that arrived on the scene later, after the incident had already occurred.
19 MM 4973.
I'm sorry. Can you state that again? You said something I ain't understand.
So,
There's probable cause for that offense. Bond will be $100 as to that case.
so we were trying to get the truth.
And we have no contact with, we had no contact with the victim on the AgBat
Oh, yes.
and no weapons. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Fields, you're also not to have any contact with Kendra Johnson. She's the alleged victim in this case. Okay?
Okay, sir. So instead of the two, what is it? 500?
Thank you, Dexter. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Kenneth Loeb.
Sir, this is 19 CF 8508. You were arrested for robbery with a firearm, possession of a firearm or ammunition by a convicted felon, carrying a concealed weapon by a convicted felon, and possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony. I do find probable cause for those offenses. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. State, did you want to be heard with respect to bond on count 1?
Yes, Your Honor, we believe the defendant should be held at no bond. Looking at the four corners of the affidavit of Eduardo Sanguino from the Orlando Police Department, the victim states that he was waiting at a bus stop. This defendant came up upon him and pulled out an orange and black gun from his waistband, pointed at him and demanded the red and black bicycle. He then took the defendant then took the bicycle and fled on westbound on West Colonial. Approximately within 10 minutes, officers were able to locate this defendant with the same bicycle and the black flare gun in his left hand. It was in plain view when the officers arrested him. Based on that, Your Honor, we believe that the defendant is not entitled to a bond, no contact with the victim, no weapons, no firearms.
Mr. Jordan?
Your Honor, we would argue that the bike in question here, the result of the robbery, he was found with the bike. and the gun. We would argue that the alleged victim did not give a police, or at least it's not indicated in the police report, proof that he was the owner of the bicycle and that it was not the defendant here today who held ownership of the bicycle. There's no independent witness to say they witnessed the event. This is based solely on the testimony of a single witness who provided no proof of ownership of the bike.
At this time, I do find that the state has met their burden to establish that there is proof evident or presumption grade based upon the information contained in the sworn probable cause affidavit. Mr. Lorber, your bond on count 1 is going to remain at none. Your bond on count 2 is $150. Your bond on count 3 is $150. Your bond on count 4 is $150. Thank you, sir.
Is there no contact with the victims, no weapons, Your Honor?
Yes, sir, as well. You're not to have any contact with Mr. Villatoro, and you're not to possess any weapons or any firearms while out on bond. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Thomas Lucas.
Mr. Lucas, this is 19 CF 8503. You were arrested for aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer and trespass. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, sir. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $500. Your bond on count 2 is $100. You're not to return to the car wash. That's the Roadrunner car wash, sir.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right?
Right.
Thank you.
Sir, do you have any questions? Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
DeQuante Sullins.
Mr. Sullins, this is 19 CF 8513. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine. I do find probable cause. You were also arrested for 19 CF 8518 for introducing contraband into a county facility in possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There's also probable cause for those offenses, and I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you in both. 19 CF 8513, your bond is $1,000, and 19 CF 8518, your bond on count 1 will be $150. Your bond on count 2 is $100. 19 CF 6937, I'll take no action or not revoke your bond at this time. All right,
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Sir.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Antoine Jean Dumas.
Sir, this is 19MM 4971. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause for both of those offenses, sir. Did you want a lawyer to help you with your case this morning?
No thanks.
Okay. State, is there an offer for Mr. Anton?
Adjudication, 3 days, no return.
Sir, did you want to accept that offer? You'll be released today.
No thank you.
No, you want to plead not, or you just, okay, your bond is $500 on count 1, and your bond on count 2 is $100.
Thank
Okay?
you.
You're welcome. Sir, good morning. Your name?
David Spalding.
Mr. Spalding, you are here for an out-of-county warrant out of Hillsborough County. It's related to a failure to appear on a petty theft of $100 or less. Your bond is it 0 or 2,500? Okay. Oh, Just for this one, okay, no bond. Sir, your bond at this time is set at none. Hillsborough County is gonna come and pick you up and you'll see a judge when you get there. Okay, thank you. Morning, are you Mr. Barnes?
Good morning.
Sir, this is 18 CF 17757. You failed to appear for pretrial on June 10th of this year. Your bond is currently set at none, sir. You'll have to get in contact with your lawyer to file a motion with the judge
Okay.
downtown.
Can I speak, ma'am? Okay. On the, on that Sunday, the victim, because we co-parent and stuff like that, when sometimes we stay together and all, she had told me, she was like, well, the state attorney just sent me an email saying you got court tomorrow, which I didn't know anything about. So I had already called my boss and told him I would be out. The morning of Monday, I called to see actually what time it was because her message didn't say what time the court date was, the time the court was. And so when I called the clerk of court, they told me, they was like, well, it's just a pre-trial hearing, and from what I'm looking at, it looks like your lawyer had filed the petition to be there in your place, so you don't have to come. So I wound up going to work. So Tuesday came, and Tamara was like, babe, they got an active warrant out for you. And I was like, no, they can't. You were standing right here when I called the clerk of court yesterday. So I called the clerk of the court again, and the person that I talked to then said the same thing. And so she had called the guy from the state attorney, and he said something different. So when I called and talked to, I think it was a guy I had talked to like the third time I called the clerk of the court, and that's when they said that I had a warrant. So I had took care of a few situations with my son, and I called to turn myself in because I have not heard from my PD in 3 months and 12 days. I have not heard from anybody, no nothing. And so the only reason why I knew that I had a court date March the 10th, which is the last time I even seen my PD, the victim told me, hey, we got court, let's go. And that's the only reason why I made it then, because nobody has been in contact with me, and this is not fair. I got a 7-year-old autistic child out there who don't even talk, and I got a job. So it's not fair to me at all.
Your Honor, it does appear as if there was a motion to waive his appearance at pretrial conference, and it was signed. But the Judge Young issued a capias anyway. I'm not sure why. But the scheduled pretrial conference was for the 10th, but the capias was issued the day afterwards. So it could be a clerical issue. I'm not sure if there's anything we can do to resolve this. I will get in contact with the attorney, and hopefully the judge can rectify this immediately, but it is showing that is the case, and we just wanted to bring that to the attention of the court.
Okay. So I'll tell you what I can do, Mr. Barnes. I'm going to email Judge Young, because he's the one who issued the capias. I'm going to let him know that I saw you this morning, and I'm going to ask him if he is okay with me giving you a bond, because the law says that he's the one that has to modify this order.
Okay, that I understand. Can you, being that I already paid a bond to get bonded out in the first place, can you request that it be a ROR? Because being that this is not my fault, I don't feel like it's fair for me to actually pay 2 cash bonds.
That would be something your lawyer would have to ask him, sir. Judge Young is the one that's gonna tell me what he wants the bond to be. I can't really advocate for you. That's not my job. But I'll let him know the circumstances, and he'll set the appropriate bond. But that's what I can do for you this morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
let your attorney know right now, like, she's gonna know, she needs to get in contact with that judge. That is the judge that needs to do something. And you can see in this situation where it's literally,
That shouldn't even be in there. Okay, yeah, and.
your number, yes, sir.
Yeah. It's 9751. I couldn't even think about it, just thinking about the.
We'll plan on that. I'm gonna email Judge Young right now.
Oh, it's on.
He's usually really good about getting back to
Okay,
me.
6 months. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna let your attorney know, just to make sure that she does that.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
Other way.
All right, Mr. Barnes, we're gonna bring you back this afternoon, and hopefully I'll have heard from Judge Young.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. was a motion filed to waive his appearance?
It is an odyssey, yes.
Okay. Good morning, your name, sir?
Trevor Biller.
Mr. Belair, you're here in 19 CF 8525. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant where probable cause was previously found for second-degree murder. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. State, did you want to be heard with respect to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Looking at the four corners of the affidavit to issue arrest warrant by Detective Ramirez, this defendant, along with the co-defendant, went to the victim and the victim's, I guess, trailer or residence. At this point, the defendant was asked and the co-defendant were asked to leave the property because they had admitted to stealing a U-Haul and were trying to use the location to remove the U-Haul decals. The two victims went inside of the trailer and locked the door or shut the door. 30 seconds later, they heard gunshots. One of the victims was hit with one of the bullets, and she stated that she was dying. The other victim called 911. He was not hit. The victims, one victim was pronounced dead when they arrived at ORMC. The other victim had no injuries. They were able to locate the defendant and a co-defendant in the vehicle with the gun. Based on that, Your Honor, we believe the defendant is not entitled to a bond and should be held at no bond. No contact with the co-defendant, no contact with the victim, or the victims, or the deceased victim's family. No weapons, no firearms, no drugs, no alcohol.
Mr. Jordan.
Your Honor, in cases of a punishable by life offense, the proof must be evident, the presumption great for him to be held no bond. In this case, that is not evident based on the police report given. There were two individuals at the scene of the offense, a female and a male, both identified in the police report later on by one of the alleged victims that did not sustain any injuries. According to his testimony, they both exited the trailer and shots were fired from outside. He did not see who fired the shots. Later, both the defendant here today and his co-defendant were found in a car together where the murder weapon was located. As such, the presumption as to who fired the shots and who would be guilty of the second-degree murder is not great, given that we simply don't know who fired the shots. We have no independent testimony, and while we do have one of the co-defendants testifying against the defendant here today, it would be in her interest to do so, even if she was the one who committed the offense.
State, did you want to respond to that?
Your Honor, State would argue that they both were present. They both had admitted to committing the crime of the original stealing of the U-Haul, and then both were present when the gun was fired, that they are each culpable.
The state's met their burden to establish proof evident or presumption of grace. Sir, at this time, you're gonna be held at no bond. You're not to have any contact, with John Bowden or Taylor Marie. You're not to possess any weapons or any firearms, and you are not to return to, the scene, which is 4623 Old Goldenrod Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
You are not entitled.
Thank you.
Good morning, your name?
William Cortez.
Mr. Cortez, this is 19 CF 7751. You were arrested for grand theft third degree pursuant to a warrant where probable cause was previously found. Your bond is $1,000. You're not to return to the I Place at 7828 Winter Garden, Vinland Road. You also have 19 CF 7752. You were arrested for grand theft third degree pursuant to a warrant where probable cause was previously found. You are not to return to Uptown Optical at 4101 Hunters Park Lane. You also have 19 CF 7736. You were arrested for grand theft third degree pursuant to a warrant where probable cause was previously found. Your bond is $1,000 in that matter, and you are not to return to the Vision Health Institute at 400 North Bumby Avenue. You also have 17MM 7515. You failed to appear for a violation of probation hearing on July 16th of 2018. Your bond in that matter is set at none. I will appoint the public defender to represent you, sir, in all the cases.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Sir, here's some information. The public defender has been appointed in the case. Your attorney could file a motion.
Good morning, your name?
Richie Bertamo.
Mr. General, this is 19 CF 8165.
Good morning, sir. We're gonna get you some-
You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for lewd and lascivious molestation and transmitting harmful material to a minor by electronic device.
Your Honor, you believe he's entitled to a bond? Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor, I have it as the F2. And Your Honor, although the defendant is entitled to a bond, state requests a higher bond based on the nature of the offense.
I'm not sure where, the facts are odd to me. I can't find the
I can't find it.
molestation.
I can't find it. I'm not sure on the molestation. On the second charge, arguable, perhaps?
I don't know what the
I'm
touching
not-
was. So, I'm gonna set bond accordingly.
Yeah, I would ask for a lower bond, but with all standard conditions, as extraneous as those may be in such charges. But we would ask for a lower bond, given the facts of this case and the information provided to us from the state so far.
Okay. I mean, so do you wanna take a look at it again?
It,
I'll leave in the court's discretion, Your Honor.
Okay.
I don't think we do.
I'm gonna set bond on count one at $5,000. Bond on count two is gonna be $150. Sir, you're not to have any contact with Juliana Figueroa or any of her family members. You are not to have any unsupervised contact with any children under the age of 18. You're not to possess any weapons or any firearms. And I will appoint the public defender to represent you if I didn't say that, okay? Thank morning, are you Mr. Hunt?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
Good morning, sir. This is case number 19 CF 8528. You were arrested for failing to report to the sheriff or FDLE pursuant to a warrant where probable cause was previously found. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. You also have an out-on-bond case from June 7th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there something that's not clear, Mr. Hunt?
Did you say something that's not clear?
Yeah, as to
They-
what your requirements are?
Your Honor, when I saw this, I knew I was in courtroom 1 last week, and I always talk to my required to report and give them a detailed explanation of what they need to do. So when I saw that, I double-checked. It does seem as if he was seen in initial appearance on Saturday with a weekend judge and a weekend covering attorney. It is not clear to me whether it was explained to him, his reporting requirements, that once you leave the jail, you need to report. And that seems to be the situation here where as soon as he left the jail on Saturday, they got a warrant for him failing to report, but given the fact that it was a weekend judge, given the fact that it was a covering attorney, it is unclear to me whether that defense attorney did what was necessary and explained to him what I normally do in great detail to our required reporting defendants.
Okay, just give me
I
a
would
second.
ask for leniency here. It does seem a misunderstanding.
Okay, just give me a sec. I just want to. I don't see it reflected on the court minutes either.
Yes, and I would
So
normally see that
I'm
as
not
well.
gonna revoke your bond, sir, in 19 CF 8157. You have to report when you're
Okay.
released from the jail.
But I will
Okay.
be at a bond though.
Your bond on the new case is $1,000.
Okay.
Okay?
It's pursuant to a warrant. We can't do it.
Okay.
But you do have a bond.
Okay, I can't get out.
And right now, just gonna have to revoke your bond. That is important because
No problem. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning, your name?
Brian David Johnston Jr.
Mr. Johnston, this is 19 CF 5016. Sir, you failed to appear for possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia for case management conference on June 5th of this year. Your bond is currently set at none, and I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you if they were not previously appointed. Good morning, your name?
Rodney Jones.
Mr. Jones, you have case number 19 CF 8501. You were arrested for trafficking in oxycodone, greater than 4 grams, less than 14 grams, and possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, sir. Your bond on count 1 is $100,000. Your bond on count 2 is $150. You also have an out-of-county warrant from Volusia County for felony possession of a firearm. Your bond in that matter is $5,000.
Your Honor, we would ask for a bond reduction as to count 1. He does not have any failure to appears. He has a minimal criminal history, we would simply request that,
Are you
given the
talking
fact that
about
he
Mr.
is...
Jones?
Huh?
Mr. Jones has a minimal criminal history?
I believe it is 3 felonies, 1 misdemeanor.
Okay.
The word is, it depends on relative to what's minimal.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Jordan, go ahead.
We would simply request, given the fact that he has applied for the public defender and qualified, he cannot afford a $100,000 bond, given his indigent status. We would be willing to put on the record and procure testimony of his community connections and as well as his income, if that would persuade the court.
I will hear it. Can you determine, please?
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. Can you please tell me your name and spell it for the record?
Rodney Jones, RODNEYJONES.
Sir, how long have you lived in Florida?
All my life.
How long have you lived in Central Florida?
All my life.
How long have you lived in Orlando?
All my life.
Sir, do you currently work?
Yes, sir.
How often do you work, and how much do you make per week after taxes?
I work once throughout the week. I work for Roebuck Construction.
For what?
Roebuck Construction.
And how much would you say you make after taxes?
Like $500.
$500 a week, or
Yes,
every
sir.
2 weeks?
Yes, sir. Every week.
Every week. Do you currently have any dependents, any children? Do you pay child support?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have any family in the community?
Yes, sir.
Who do you have in the community that's
My
your family?
mom,
Just your mom? Any siblings?
my little brother.
Okay. Sir, would you be able to afford a $100,000 bond?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
What bond would you be able to afford if you were able to contact your family?
$10,000 bond.
How much?
10,000.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, do you know how much a pill of oxycodone would sell on the streets?
How much would it sell?
Yes.
Your Honor, I don't know if this was, if my client should plead the fifth as to this question.
No, ma'am. I don't know.
I would ask my client not answer that question.
Do you know how much a small Ziploc bag of weed would sell for on the streets?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever been around a black trash bag that for value purposes? Not saying you sold it, not saying you possessed it, saying for money purposes. I'm asking you the question. You cannot speak to your attorney in the middle of my cross-examination.
I'm trying to understand. What did you just say?
Ask me to repeat it and I will, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been or contemplated the value of a trash bag of marijuana? The
No.
dollar value, how much it would sell for, how much money somebody would gain by selling it.
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have you ever purchased a bag of weed at all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And whenever you purchased it, I don't care if it was 20 years ago, how much did that bag cost you?
$5.
Okay. And was that a small bag, a large bag?
Small.
Okay, no further questions. I just have arguments, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, I believe when the bond schedule was created, it was taking in context the value of drugs that the defendant would possess, and therefore the value of that item. And so, just the allegations, I'm not saying Mr. Jones did it at this point, is that he had 2 black trash bags of a brown, green, leafy substance to be marijuana. I believe at least 1 pill bottle. I believe based on the value of the street value of those drugs, that's the reason why the bond is set at $100,000. It is not the cash that he may have had on hand or in his bank accounts. It's the street value of the drugs that he was possessing at that time. Based on that information, Your Honor, we believe the defendant's bond should stay as is.
Anything else, Mr. Jordan?
Your Honor, I believe the police report indicates that he had allegedly 26 pills, 1 pill bottle. I'm not sure it was a trash bag or it was 14 grams of marijuana.
That's all I had.
But-
13 grams of the oxycodone allegedly. 68 grams of cannabis was found in the room.
And the 26 pills amounted to 13 grams. Our objection was with the count 1 of trafficking in oxycodone. The state's argument is the 26 pills would be worth a street value of $100,000? Was that the
I
argument?
think her argument is that that's not the value, that when the bond schedule was created, the value, the street value of drugs was contemplated. They're not saying that's exactly how much that amount would cost, but when they came up with the value for the bond, they considered the value, the street value of the drugs.
And I would compare that to the street value of a vehicle in a grand theft. In a grand theft auto, the bond is not set at the, or even near the street value of a car. But in this case, with 26 pills in a single pill bottle, not multiple pill bottles, not individually packaged pills, but a single pill bottle of 26 pills, $100,000 is the bond requested. We're asking for a reduction given his indigent status, and we've put testimony to that, to the record, so.
Right, well, I have to weigh the credibility of the witness along with all the facts in the case. So at this time, that request is going to be denied, based upon his criminal history and the, charges before the court. Good morning, your name?
Jerron Kegler.
Mr. Kegler, this is 19 CF 8511. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm. There is probable cause. You also have 19 CF 8507, possession of cocaine, for which there's also probable cause. Sir, your affidavit seeking appointment of the public defender states that you make $780 per week. Is that correct?
That's every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Okay, I'm gonna make the correction here on your affidavit, and you have one dependent, so he'll qualify for every 2 weeks. Okay, sir, I'm going
I
to
have a-
appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Sir, your bond on count 1, I'm going to set at $2,500, and your bond on count 2 is gonna be $150. You are not to have any contact with Kendra Johnson or your co-defendant, Demarius Fields. You're also not to possess any weapons or any firearms, sir. Do you understand? Is there anything that I said that you didn't hear?
Can you repeat that, ma'am? I'm sorry. I
thought so. All right, you're not to have any contact with Kendra Johnson or Demarius Fields. She's the alleged victim. He's the co-defendant. You're not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Okay? Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what was the bond on that case, on ag assault?
2,500 and
Thank you.
150.
Yeah.
Headphones. Good morning. Are you Mr. Lapin?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is 19 CF 1232. You failed to appear for case management conference on June 5th of 2019. Your bond is currently set at none, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you if they weren't previously appointed. Okay? Thank you, sir.
We'll get in contact with your attorney as soon as possible. They need to get you in front of the judge.
Oh, shoot. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Daniel Southgiver.
Sir, this is 19 CF 8492. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. So I'm gonna set your bond on count 1 at $500 and on count 2 at $100.
Felonies. Be in contact with your attorney. One will be appointed for you shortly. Give it about a week and then try to call it, okay?
Good morning. Your name?
Travis Schmidt.
Mr. Schmidt, you're here in case number 18 CF 337. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for the offenses of burglary of a conveyance, petty theft, and criminal mischief. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Your bond on count 2 is $500, and your bond on count 3 is also $500. You also have 17 CF 15567. You failed to appear for arraignment on February 21st of 2018. Your bond in that matter is set at none. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor,
Thank you.
for the 18 CF 337BO, we ask for no contact, no return.
Okay, so you can't have any contact with the victim or return to the scene.
No, it looks like. Oh, you're talking about here?
Robin? Pardon me? Disqualified. Okay.
That was his intention.
Good morning, ma'am. Your name?
Nicole Tapp.
Ms. Tapp, you're here in 18 CF 14414. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for the offense of burglary of a dwelling and grand theft, 3rd degree. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
This is curious. Does she qualify?
She does not.
That's a surprise. The judge ordered PTR.
I see that.
Given that, what and the impossibility of pretrial release, given she does not qualify, we would ask for an appropriate bond to be set, given the intention of the judge to release her in PTR.
Okay. Do you have a recommendation?
$500 on count one, $100 on count two.
State, did you want to be heard?
They would ask for at least $1,000 and no objection to 100 on count, or 150, excuse me, on count two.
Oh, yes, sorry. If the intent was PTR, we could be asking for ROR, but
Well, PTR is not ROR though.
it isn't, and that's why we're asking for a lower bond.
PTR means that they're being supervised and they have to check in. I think it's more stringent than posting a bond.
If she was given a light bond, would she be able to be on PTR per the judge's?
No, the PTR won't supervise her because of the charge.
They either qualify or they don't.
It's an add-on. This initially was revoked and there was no props on the fifth, but then they refiled. So
So she initially had a bond.
Oh.
I see. Okay, let me look for a second.
Well, now, that explains
But
some
did that
things.
bond get discharged?
That's some sneaky.
The bond is discharged. See?
because she came in on the 7th of May,
Yeah.
and this case had been revoked at that time, and then there was no props on the 5th of April. But then they
Okay.
have refiled.
State, do you know why the case was null pros? Was the state not ready to go or?
Witnesses might not have been ready for trial.
Okay. So back in
If that is the case, has she already paid bond on these charges prior?
her bond was 5,000 at the initial.
Did you bond her?
I wonder if she'd ever failed.
She's here on quite a few felony cases related to that same charge as well.
Were all of those cases null pros and then?
No,
refiled?
this is an add-on that she's here for today, right? These cases are still open.
That doesn't look like she ever failed to appear in this case while it was pending.
Y'all don't have to feel to appear for.
All right, I'm gonna set bond at 500 on count one and 100 on count two. But the same conditions as before, ma'am. You can't return to 12 Pine Key Court, 68 East Circle Key Drive. No contact with any of the witnesses or victims in the case. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Oh,
Here's some
And delete
information for
PTR,
you,
please. Thank you.
But same conditions.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Gary Fitzgerald.
Mr. Fitzgerald, this is case number 19M01147. You were arrested for open container. I do find probable cause. Just reading at the same time. I do find probable cause. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Did you want to resolve your case today, Mr.
Yeah,
Fitzgerald?
for his adjudication, 7 days. I believe he was released yesterday.
Well, he was here since
Sure.
March 27th, 2019.
Corrections, can you tell me when he was released? His last
He was
release?
released, he bonded 6/8, it says.
No, he was time served yesterday.
Oh.
So he was released on another case yesterday, and he's back today.
Took no action on his out of bond theft.
Theft?
I voted.
With Mr. Fitzgerald?
He's out on bond on an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
It was 19 MM 4938 that he was here for
What was that case?
That's on property up and down.
Wait a minute. Mr. Fitzgerald, no way. Were you at the links and you had to go to work?
Yes, ma'am.
It was a plea to the bench, 6/12, 2 days, credit for time served.
All right, Mr. Fitzgerald, did you want to accept the state's offer?
What was it? What was
It's
the
7
offer?
days.
Ma'am, could I just say something first, please?
Okay.
This is the same officer that just keep doing this to me, but he's getting his co-workers to make out the report. Only thing I was doing was walking to the Publix to go pick up a Western Union. That's it. It was in a big gulp cup. It wasn't in. I wasn't walking down the street with a with a beer can. You know, I mean, he's like, he walks up on me, let me see what's in the cup. You got thousands of people walking around with big gulp cups, but he not stopping them. Why he just stopped me like this?
Well, it sounds like we'd like to test the case because he stopped.
Jenny, can I have the case number from yesterday? M.
MM 493.
Ma'am.
Did you go to work yesterday?
I didn't get out here till like 2. I went to the office and I talked. They told me I was supposed to have been there this morning, but again, I called. He said, all right, this is going to be the last time. You're not doing this. We're not. The officer let me call him last night from downstairs in the booking.
I have Officer Wilkes for today. Yesterday, it was Officer Brady Gatton.
Yeah, but it's the same officer, but he's getting his co-workers to do the arrest reports. You understand what I'm saying?
Multiple officers were reported on the scene of the last report, but none of them were named in the report.
He wasn't at the link stop. You still have the job, Mr. Fitzgerald?
Yes, ma'am.
And you called them from here?
I called the foreman that I work for from down in the booking office.
Okay.
The officer let me make a call on, you know, the phone's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to use that. I had to use it from my phone.
You gotta find a different spot to be.
Yes, ma'am, I agree with you, but
I mean, I hate to say that to you, but I know. He's got 19 CF 4232. All right, Mr. Fitzgerald, do you want to resolve your case today? Do you want to plead with the court? Or you can accept the state's 7 days?
No, ma'am, I'll deal with the court. I was thinking if I could R&R, I'll resolve it.
I mean,
Your Honor, this will be a plea of no contest to the bench.
All right, Mr. Fitzgerald, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form? You're not on probation, you told me that yesterday, right? Okay, you're a US citizen, and you haven't taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today. All right. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. I'm gonna sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You also have to pay court costs. Those are due by June 13th of 2020. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. Mr. Fitzgerald, you have to find someplace else to go. All right, if that's true, and I believe you, that you think you're being treated unfairly, you need to go someplace else, because 2 days in a row now, you've been back before me
Yes,
for
ma'am.
trespassing and now for open container.
And you're
You say
right.
you have a job, which I'm giving you that benefit of the doubt, based on what you've told me, and I hope you get to go to it.
Thank you, ma'am.
I don't want to,
thank you.
Mr. Fitzgerald, if you come back, I'm revoking your bond on your felony case, and then you're not gonna have any credibility left.
Yes, ma'am.
This is your last shot,
All right, thank you.
all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Sir, good morning, your name?
Peter William Ivy Verdugo.
Pardon me?
Peter William Verdugo.
Oh, Mr. Verdugo. This is 19 CO 672. You were arrested for soliciting without a permit. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Did you have an offer for Mr. Verdugo?
Adjudication, 3 days.
Okay. Mr. Verdugo, do you want to resolve your other case today too?
If possible, man, because, you know what I'm saying, it's just me and my wife, and we're homeless, and she's she's disabled from a car wreck, so she can't walk. So I'm
Sure.
stuck in here, and she's out there by herself.
Okay, we'll take care of them both today.
Public defender was not appointed, Your Honor?
No, you are.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Verdugo, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to accept your plea on both cases, which is 19 CO 653 and 19 CO 672. Adjudicate you guilty in both, sentence you to, how many days does he have in the Alderman? Okay, 2 days in 19 CO 653 and 3 days in 19 CO 672. Those are to run concurrent to one another. You'll have to pay court costs in each case. Those are due by June 13th of 2020, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
So I'm free to go tonight, right?
Going out again tonight.
Okay, we'll reset Mr. Phillip. Sir, good morning. Your name?
There's your name.
Arthur Flaw.
Sir, this is 19 MM 441. You were arrested for battery. I do find probable cause. Did you want to have a lawyer to help you with your case, sir? You didn't fill out the application for the public defender. That's why I'm asking. Yes?
Can I represent myself?
Yes.
Represent myself.
Okay, sir. Say, is there an offer for Mr. Plot?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Plot, at this time,
I would note he has no criminal history that I can see,
yeah,
although it does appear that PTR does not recommend.
I'm gonna say around at 500, or can I do mental health PTR if qualifies?
You try to go.
Okay.
I'll send everything out.
So, Mr. Plot, I've ordered your bond to be $500 or mental health PTR. I noticed on your face sheet that you reported a history of that. So there's a mental health pretrial release program. They're gonna come talk to you. I don't know if you'll qualify or not. But they might have some services or some things in the community they can link you to. Okay?
Okay.
And we'll see.
So what happens now?
You're not also to have any contact with Mr. Wynn, Lon Wynn, and you cannot return to Tip Top Nails at 2115 West Colonial Drive. Okay?
I don't get my nails done.
I understand, sir. I wasn't saying you did. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Patrick Payne, ma'am.
Mr. Payne, you're here for an out-of-county warrant from Volusia County. It's a violation of probation for possession of a Schedule II controlled substance. Your bond is set at none. Volusia County will come pick you up, and you will see a judge when you get there.
Ma'am, do you know how long it'll be?
Um,
Oh, okay, never mind. Deputy told me.
Volusia, 72 hours, 3 days, 3 business days.
Not including weekends.
Yeah. You're welcome, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Tell me your name, please.
Ashlyn Scott.
Ms. Scott, you're here in 18 CT 2518. This is an out-of-county warrant from Sumter County related to a driving while license suspended with one prior. Your bond is currently set at none. Sumter County will come pick you up and you'll see a judge when you get there, ma'am. Okay? Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Are you Miss Waters?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Waters, you're here for an out-of-county warrant from Seminole County related to a violation of probation on a petty theft and trespass. Your bond is set at none. Seminole County will come pick you up and you'll see a judge when you get there. All right, thank you.
You just got the
Good morning.
motion. Just got Philomar, so.
Oh, he has a lot of cases. Is it DOC for all the cases? Oh, what's the southern?
The 19,
Oh, okay. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Are you Mr. Wachek?
I am.
Sir, this is a determination of counsel hearing. You're seeking the appointment of the public defender. I have reviewed your affidavit, and you do qualify, and I will appoint the office to represent you at this time.
Okay,
Okay? Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Here's some information for you about the public. This case.
Good morning, your name?
Theophilus Cunnings, ma'am.
What's his last name?
Karenzi.
No objection, Your Honor, just a no return.
Okay, just give me a second. Mr. Quincy, I'm gonna grant your motion, but you can't return to 3101 West Princeton, the Walmart. You
Yes, ma'am.
understand, sir? Make sure that you stay in contact with your lawyer. That way you know when your court dates are. Otherwise, if you miss court, they'll issue a warrant for your arrest that will have no bond.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, your name?
My name is Richard Rivera.
This is the reset
From yesterday?
from yesterday.
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Yes,
ma'am.
and I reviewed Mr. Rivera's yesterday as well. This is 19MM 369. Mr. Rivera, I'm going to grant your motion. I'm going to order that you can't return to the 7-Eleven or have any contact with Larry Christian, and you also can't commit any new law offenses. All right? Make sure you stay in contact with your lawyer's office to make sure that you get notice of all your court dates. Otherwise, you'll get a no bond warrant for your arrest.
All right, so that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
What about Mr. Lamar? Mr. Jordan, are you going forward on this today, or do you want to reset it?
We're willing to go forward with this today if the state has no objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, do you have any objection to the
No,
motion?
I got the amended motion this morning, well, like, 20 minutes ago. So no objection. Same conditions as the out on bond or the out on conditional release. We just asked in order to commit no new crimes to add that as well.
Okay, I haven't received the amended motion. I just have what we had from yesterday.
I have a copy, Your Honor.
Okay, can I have it?
Mayor
Can I just see the
Yes,
order?
please.
Yeah.
Just the order.
The state wishes to see the order. It also has attached
The other ones, yeah,
other
yeah.
orders as well.
I think, and Judge Caraballo added the, will not commit any offenses, and that's not on the,
Well, it leaves space to add,
no, I'm saying just add that too, and that's it. Just like Judge Caraballo's.
yes. The order on conditional release includes the where people reside, no possession of firearms or weapons, as well as room for the judge to add more.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. All right, Mr. Jordan, I'm gonna grant the motion. Okay, I'm gonna add. He will not commit. also gonna add that he's not to drink alcohol or use any illegal substances of any kind. That's also in Judge Carbile's, initial release, condition of release.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. Two, 18, 19.
What is Kramer?
So procedurally, once this case is filed on by the state, then does your office just then seek a status hearing, or do they, what happens? Do you know how it gets
How it gets
tracked?
trying to adopt the findings of incompetence?
Right.
They're supposed to set a status, the downtown
will.
attorney should.
Set a status hearing in front of the judge to present.
Okay, because normally on the other ones, like when it says the status hearing to be set, I just put at arraignment or thereafter, but, okay. In misdemeanor court, do they move the cases to the lowest division, or is that only in circuit court?
They do it in county as
They
well.
do in county as well, okay, so hopefully they'll all be together. Are we all set on the 33-day motion?
Yes, we are.
Your Honor, I believe there is one more ROR motion on the add-on list.
Oh, that's
Angela
correct.
Kramer?
Yes.
Angelina Kramer.
Okay, so you want to reset it for tomorrow or when she's released?
I don't know that
She'll be released tomorrow.
these times.
Okay.
We could move forward with it today and.
They would
wait for
object
her.
without her presence.
Yeah, how would you put on any testimony? And you have an objection to the motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, we'll reset it. If she's not here again tomorrow, I'll get in contact with her and we'll put it on.
Okay.
Put it on the back burner.
Oh, she's got no bond VOPs that she's running. So maybe you
I
talk to her and see if she wants to withdraw the motion, because she won't get any credit.
I'll let
Just a
her
thought,
attorney know.
just a thought, okay.
In that case, why don't we put it on the back burner? He said she's probably not going to be back tomorrow.
I wouldn't think so.
Okay, in that case, I'll get in contact with the current attorney and we'll withdraw the motion for
See
now.
what they want to do, okay. So, I'm just gonna take no action then on that today. No action, you just report it, does it say no action? Well, no, I'm not denying it. Okay. All right. This is 19 CF 6840 Dominique Galan.
To be granted, the state filed a notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
Nineteen CF 6625 Emmanuel Charles.
That should be denied. The state filed an information on 6/11.
That'll be denied. 19 CF 6878 John Hot Wagner.
That should be granted. The state filed a notice of no information on 6/11.
That will be granted. 19 CF 5260 Nathaniel Gullens.
That should be granted. The state filed a no information on 6/12.
That'll be granted. 18 CF 9653 Nathaniel Gullens.
That should be granted. The state filed a notice of non-filing before the 33rd day on
That'll
6/12.
be granted. 19 CF 6861 Jeremy Johnson.
Should be granted. The state filed a notice of non-filing.
That will be granted. 19 CF 2272 Philippe Gautier.
That should be denied. The state filed an information on 6/12.
That will be denied. Nineteen CF 5261 Nathaniel Gullens.
That should be denied. The state filed an information on 6/12.
That'll be denied. 19 CF 6852 James Novak.
That should be granted. The state filed a notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
That'll be granted. 19 CF 6511 Lakaya Mann.
That should be granted. The state filed a no information.
That'll be granted. 19 CF 6685 Diarlo Brown.
That should be granted. The state filed a notice of non-filing before the 33rd day on 6/12.
That'll be granted. 19 CF 5272 Grant Belcher.
That should be granted. The state filed a notice of non-filing before the 33rd day on 6/12.
That'll be granted too. Can I have the attorneys place their appearances on the record, please?
Coffee Kennedy Swanson on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Cody Jordan with the Public Defender's Office.
Thank you. Good morning, or good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Tell me your name, please.
Stephen Haddon?
Mr. Hedden, this is 19 MO 1149. You were arrested for sitting and lying on the sidewalks in the downtown core district, open container, and state misdemeanors. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer for Mr. Haddon?
Adjudication 8 days.
All right, Mr. Haddon, did you want to accept that offer?
Yes.
Okay, sign the plea form, please.
Your Honor, was the Public Defender appointed?
Yes. Mr. Haddon, did you read the plea form, sir, before you signed it?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court this afternoon?
No.
All right, sir, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 7 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You do have to pay court costs. Those are due by June 13th of 2020, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, sir.
So that's 5 more days, huh?
That's right. I think it's 5.
5.
5 more, okay.
So what's today?
Thank you, sir.
Today's your 2 days, second day. Thursday.
We got 5 more days.
I think it's 4.
4 or 5?
Well, it's kind of June now, so it's good. You got 2 days there, it's like you posted yesterday.
Well, that's a good question.
Can I ask what day he's going to get out on?
Where's the day?
It's Thursday.
Thursday morning.
afternoon, sir. Your name?
Ernest Stanek.
Mr. Stanek, you are here in case number 19 CF 8468 for possession of methamphetamine. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public to represent you, sir. Your bond is going to be $500. You also have case number 18 MM 654. You failed to appear in that matter for arraignment, and your bond is $250.
Your Honor, he currently does not have an attorney appointed to him in the MM matter.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender in that matter as well.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any questions? All right, here's some information for you. On the public defender, okay?
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Eric Fitzgerald Agree. Good afternoon.
Mr. Legree, you have case number 19MM4980, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams and possession of drug paraphernalia. You also have 19 CF 8520, possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for both of those offenses, sir. Your bond on count 1 in 19MM4980 will be $500. Count 2 will be $100. 19 CF 8520, your bond on count 1 is going to be $150. Your bond on count 2 is $100.
We also have 8521.
Introduction of contraband case.
Oh, yep, I do. Okay. And there is probable cause for that offense, sir, and your bond will be $150 for that. All right. 19 CF 8055, I'm not going to take any action on that case at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Michael Linder.
Mr. Linder, this is 19 CF 3988. Sir, you failed to appear for case management conference on June 5th of this year. Your bond is currently set at none. I will appoint the public defender if they weren't previously appointed to represent you. And then in 19 CF 5357, I will not take any action or revoke your bond at this time, sir. Okay? Thank you. Mr. Phillips, this is 19 CF 8530. You were arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of marijuana less than 20 grams. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Count 1, your bond is going to be $500. Count 2, $100. Count 3, $100.
I have 2 counts.
Oh, I have
one count.
4. Okay. There's probable cause for 4 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia. Bond will be bond on the first count of that will be 100, and then I'm gonna ROR him on the rest. Does that make sense, sir? Do you understand what I'm saying? No? Okay. So they charged you with four different pieces of drug paraphernalia. I'm only setting a monetary bond on one of the counts, and the other ones you don't have to pay a bond on. Okay? All right. Thank you, sir.
That's still gonna be your bond. 500.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Jeremy Roberts.
Mr. Roberts, this is 19 CF 8517. You are arrested for burglary of a structure, grand theft 3rd degree, criminal mischief greater than $1,000, possession of burglary tools, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause for these offenses. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Bond on count 1 is $3,500. Bond on count 2, 3, and 4 is $150, and bond on count 5 is $100. You are not to return to 2700 Alamo Drive, and you are not to have any contact with Shawnice Hunt. Okay, thank you, sir.
Sure.
Good afternoon, your name, sir?
John Sykish.
Mr. Sykish, this is 19 CF 8516. You were arrested for burglary of a structure, grand theft 3rd degree of a motor vehicle, and criminal mischief. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Bond on count 1 is $3,500. Bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3 is $150.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, what was the bond on count 1?
$3,500. Good afternoon, your name?
Antonio Harmon.
Mr. Harmon, this is 19 CT 1273. You were arrested for driving while license suspended. There is probable cause. Sir, were you gonna hire a lawyer, or do you wanna see if you qualify for the public defender? You didn't fill out the application.
I told them I didn't want one.
Okay. You don't want a lawyer to help you with your case? Can you afford to hire one?
No.
Okay, why don't you see if you qualify for the public defender? Because you're gonna have to come back to court.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you could do it.
Okay,
could-
do you have a job?
Yes, ma'am.
How much money do you make every 2 weeks after taxes? How much is your take-home pay?
Well, I get paid every week. It'd be like maybe $250 after taxes.
Okay.
250, 350. It varies. But it's like 350 at the most after taxes sometimes.
Okay, based on your testimony, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond is going to be $250. And 19 CF 3397, I'm not gonna take any action, or I'm not gonna revoke your bond at this time. Okay?
Thank you.
So you can't drive if you don't have a valid driver's license.
It was on a motorbike.
I understand, but if you don't have a license, you can't drive,
Oh, okay.
all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Alright. So I could bond now.
You can bond down on the $250 bond? Yeah.
Okay. Alright, thank you.
Yeah, I'm all right. I got a fractured ankle.
Sir, good afternoon, your name?
Stephen Palmer.
Mr. Palmer, this is 19MM 4978. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause for each of the offenses. Were you gonna hire a lawyer to assist you with this case, sir, or do you wanna see if you qualify for the public defender?
I just have to, I can do the public defender, I guess. I didn't think it would go this far. What the case, or the,
You don't want to say anything.
nothing, okay.
Because remember, right now, charges have not.
State, is there an offer for Mr. Palmer?
Adjudication 3 days, no return to the Universal, I believe, property.
So, Mr. Palmer, if you want to resolve your case today, it would be an adjudication of guilt on both counts. And 3 days in the county jail. You have credit for 2, you'd be released today.
You get out tonight.
Okay.
Don't ask me.
Otherwise, you can post your bond and you can have a court date downtown to contest the charges.
Okay. No, it's not a, is it a, it's a misdemeanor, right?
They're
I'm sorry.
both misdemeanors.
Okay.
Sir, he said.
California also.
Take a plea and get interrupted, no contest.
Okay. And I'll be out tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I just gotta leave for California in the morning.
You should be out before that.
Okay. That's fine.
You want to enter a plea of no contest?
No contest.
Okay, sir, sign the plea form, please.
Print my name. And sign there. I haven't slept much.
Mr. Palmer, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, as long as it doesn't affect anything, you know, your work related. It's just misdemeanors, correct? So it has no effect on, you know, it's not a felony.
Neither of the charges are felony.
Okay. So my voting rights are still intact and all that.
I don't know if your
I
voting rights
don't
are
have any
intact right
felonies.
now, so I can't
Okay.
answer that question for
Okay.
you.
All right. Yes,
Okay.
I understand.
All right. Are you on probation?
No. No,
Are
ma'am.
you a United States citizen?
Yes.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court this afternoon?
No.
All right, so I'm going to accept your plea. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty on both counts, sentence you to 3 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You'll also have to pay court costs. Those need to be paid by June 13th of 2020. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. And if you don't pay the court costs, they'll suspend your driver's license. So I try to pay those as soon as possible,
I'll take
okay?
care of it.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. White.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Sir, this is 19MM 4979. You were arrested for trespass in a structure and criminal mischief. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer for Mr. White?
There is not, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. White, at this time, I'm going to place you on pretrial release. All right, thank you. afternoon. Are you Mr. Bennett?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
This is 19MO1148. You were arrested for littering on public property. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer for Mr. Bennett?
Adjudication credit for time served.
Did you want to accept the offer, Mr. Bennett?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, sign the plea form for me, please.
I can't put my glasses.
Did you get a chance to read the free form, or do you understand the message?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Do you have any questions?
Mr. Bennett, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form that you're giving up?
No, I don't.
Are you on probation?
Nope.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes, I am.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
Nope.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs. Those are due by June 13th of 2020, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Compton. This was reset from yesterday. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, for the state to provide additional probable cause as to which victim this affidavit was attached to. So he came through yesterday, as you can see on the face sheet, with many burglary of conveyances, but not all of the affidavits had a victim listed.
Yes, so my understanding is, when I spoke to Ms. Bush yesterday,
Yeah.
this morning, in the 19 CF 8441 case, that's what I have, and the victim is listed as Noelle Orso on maybe like the 6th line down from the top.
I have, this is 19 CF 8451.
8441?
8451.
Oh, 845, okay, hold on. Is it the same? Okay, I didn't get any, they didn't provide any more information. According to Ms. Bush, that the victim was listed, and I didn't know if she realized it was the same.
Okay.
Same.
Judge, I have a victim sheet,
For-
but I didn't know. I'm sorry. It got misinterpreted yesterday.
Okay.
So 8441, I have no.
That's 8451, please.
8451.
Yes.
Noelle Rose. Okay, all right. Thank you. I'm gonna file this with this. So the victim in that case has been identified, so I'll just say the bond, sir, as it was before at $2,500. Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, what is his total bond?
I do not know.
Good. He was requesting.
30,450.
How much?
30,450. That's what we have.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Barnes. I actually just got an email.
Good.
Okay, all right. Judge Young has, given me permission to modify the KPS. So I just wanna look and see. That was good timing, Mr. Barnes, because when we started court, he hadn't responded to me yet, so we put your case at the end.
The judge responded.
Burns, he did not indicate that he wanted it to be ROR. He said monetary bond, so I will have to set a monetary bond on the KPS, or on to modify the KPS.
But I don't understand, being that I'm only in here for a mistake that was.
Mr. Barnes, if you want to take that up with Judge Young downtown when he gets back from Germany, you absolutely can do that, or I can set a bond for you today. So, sir, I'm gonna set your bond at $250 on count one and $250 on count two. You're welcome, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I think we're finished? Then we'll be in recess.